To be completely honest, I was the type of student where I thought, if I worked so completely hard at PC,
Mhm.
that, an opportunity would just fall in my lap that would just be like worth the effort I put in at PC. Unfortunately, the world doesn't really necessarily work that way.
Hello, Kurt. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm good, and you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for having me today. I'm happy to chat with you.
No, thank you for giving me this opportunity to interview you. Could you please first start by saying your name, your year, the major and minor that you received from Providence College, and or any education after PC?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I'm Kurt Haller, guys. I graduated PCE back in 2019. I was a double major in marketing and management with a minor in German. And currently I'm based in London, pursuing a career opportunity out here.
That's amazing. So, like you just said, you're based in London. So, what made you move to London? And did you move to London right after college, or was it like how did that process kind of go?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, I didn't move right after school. I was looking for opportunities to work abroad for quite some time, and a lot of that stemmed actually from studying abroad while at PC.
Mhm.
I studied abroad in Vienna, Austria, when I was a junior, and I just thoroughly enjoyed that experience. And I wanted to, really replicate that within my professional life as well, just because I think meeting new cultures, and being immersed into that new environment is really something valuable. So I had a pretty lengthy process, but I ultimately ended up moving out to London at the end of July, right after graduation.
That's amazing. So we know that you're in London. So where is it that you currently work, and kind of what it is that you do?
Yeah, so I work for Zappy. It's an ad and innovation testing platform. So it's very much in the trendy tech realm of things. I am currently an enterprise account executive in this existing role. So I work with multi-million-dollar accounts. I'm essentially selling them in the innovation platform. And the whole premise of that is I'm trying to really drive their usage and
Mhm.
systematize their entire innovation or advertising process.
Wow, that's amazing. So did you get this job right after graduation, or did it take some time? And if it did, can you talk a little bit more about your process?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So as far as obtaining this job, it definitely wasn't a walk in the park. I had to interview with a lot of different companies just because I had to ensure that the companies were able to do visa sponsorships in the first place.
Hmm.
And so after a handful of after looking at few different companies, I stumbled across Zappy and I saw that they did sponsorships. So I had a few interviews with them, about four, and right before I was about to head out to London anyways. I was
Hmm.
actually offered the job right when I was leaving, to head out to London anyways. So it was kind of coincidentally happened that way.
That's amazing. So it's like you walked into London, but you also had a job. So that's really nice. It's like a good setup. So with the job that you do you think that like the classes in the business school helped prepare you for this role? And if so, like what kind of classes do you think really helped equip you with the skills that you needed to be in your field?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So as far as classes go, I think there was a few specifically in the market research realm. I took a few classes by Sarah Alhudi, and I never thought I would really use a lot of that curriculum or knowledge in my everyday work experience. But to be completely honest, it actually helped translate into terminology I use in my day-to-day work life.
Hmm.
So, even when you don't think you're gonna apply some knowledge that you learn at PC, you actually end up doing it anyways.
That's nice to know that we're not just learning things to learn it for no reason, that we will be using it. So that's some good motivation there.
Yeah.
Um, so what are some tips that you have for finding a job upon graduation, especially someone like you who didn't find a job here, you went abroad. So what are some tips in that aspect for the seniors, the 2020 seniors who are looking to go abroad and stuff like that?
Yeah, so I think if there's any students or recent graduates who are looking to really work abroad, I think it's important that you think outside of the box and are really creative with how you approach certain jobs, I think it goes outside of just submitting the application and hoping that you're the right candidate. There's a lot of people out there who have the same qualifications, and it's really important you go above and beyond and differentiate yourself in that regard, whether that's through a video, really making a continuous effort to meet with someone outside of the workplace and so on.
That's amazing advice, because I know that there are so many of us in the business school, so we need to be able to differentiate ourselves to that of our competitors from other schools who are getting the same education as us. So that's really good advice. What are some things you wish you had known your senior year that someone had like really put an emphasis on for you?
Yeah, to be completely honest, I was the type of student where I thought, if I worked so completely hard at PC, that, an opportunity would just fall in my lap that would just be like worth the effort I put in at PC. Unfortunately, the world doesn't really necessarily work that way. For some people, that is the case. But most of the time, it really actually does come down to networking and having the right connections with certain people to really, even if there's some people that you don't think like, that's not necessarily something I really want to do. That person that might actually know someone who works for the other company that you do want to work for. So, I think just be open to that, because I was never really the type to think that networking was going to get me all the way there. But, it's definitely something super important.
That's a really good thing to like stress for the seniors, because I know that's really important. So what are some words of motivation that you have to like close this all off that you'd like to give to the senior class?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you guys are in a very unique time. So I think ultimately words of motivation is just be grateful for all the experiences you have. Take some time for yourself to really appreciate how far you've come in this process. I know people say it a lot, but I don't think we give ourselves enough credit for how much we've accomplished. And, I just really think we have so many valuable life experiences, even just to be attending PC. That's such a great experience. Not many individuals have the opportunity to even do that. So just be grateful for what you have.